All right, everybody, welcome to BO Boys for Thursday, June 26th. Fuck it, it's a raw feed. We're doing it live remotely. I'm Clayton.
Yeah, I'm Pat Clayton. It is the weekend preview, and it didn't catch on like Barbenheimer, but we do have Megan 2 F1. Is that the combo? Is that the way to go? Megan 2 F1?
Yep.
Yeah, it's given a lot to Megan, which may not be the movie that deserves to go first in this weekend in the combo name. But let's get into this. I mean, do we want to start with the presumptive favorite for the weekend? Do we want to start with a movie that you and I are going to see together?
Yes.
This weekend, Friday night, in the greatest theater in the country, the AMC Lincoln in IMAX, we are seeing F1.
Yes.
Has your excitement for this movie grown over these last few weeks? Where are you at personally, emotionally, spiritually, as we finally get onto the track for F1?
I would say my box office excitement has grown. I wouldn't say my personal excitement for the movie has grown all that much. Obviously, Brad Pitt is one of the last remaining stars. You've got, Kaczynski, who did Maverick. We've seen the commercials where it feels like you're in the car with these men. I think I was just excited for another meat and potatoes sort of driving movie that we really haven't had since Ford v Ferrari, which I think is a very different movie. That obviously was more about the drama, but there was some great car racing in that. But I think I'm just this feels to me, and I know, listen, it is an IP because it's a very popular sport, but this feels like an old school blockbuster to me. That's what it feels like. It feels like the sort of stuff we got every summer for 15, 20 summers in the 90s and in early 2000s.
Yeah. I mean, this feels like a movie star vehicle where I get F1 is a brand, it's a sport, but it's a brand in the way like a book is. I would put F1 on the level of a Grisham novel. It's not a Marvel superhero. It's not a sequel.
Yeah.
It's an IP the way a book is an IP. I think sports and books, when it comes to movie IP, they're equally at the same level, which is not really IP.
No.
This is Brad Pitt is the draw here. I think if Brad Pitt was a lawyer, it's different, but Brad Pitt as a race car driver, that's the sell of this movie. And I think people still want to see Brad Pitt. I mean, you hated Bullet Train and you hate that kind of movie, but that movie opened to $30 million a couple of summers ago.
Yeah.
Because it was Brad Pitt on that train. If it's Miles Teller on that train, that movie's opening to $9 million at best.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with those movies, and obviously we won't get into them because we're not talking about them this weekend. It's not the weekend for them.
No.
But it's that snarky, unfunny comedy action that has almost completely taken over at the box office, save for your Statham films and a few of those. Even the Jerry Butler movies, I mean, those still don't put the comedy first. I have a hard time with action comedies, especially this brand of action comedy that has been, it has infected the cinemas.
The Deadpoolization of action movies. But F1 is not a Deadpoolization movie. Brad Pitt, he's not snarking on the racetrack there. He's an earnest guy with earnest goals. He's not breaking the fourth wall on that track. He's not racing around in F1 saying, "Hey, did you check out the Netflix series?"
Yes. Yeah.
Which is what Deadpool would do if Deadpool was in F1. Deadpool would say, "Man, I really hated the Netflix series."
He would say, no, he would be like, "Look, Mom, I'm on Netflix." And then the Netflix sound would they'd make that sound. I know all those tricks. I know all those tricks.
He would do Deadpool in the F1 car. He would do the da-dum.
Yeah.
He would say da-dum. And then he masturbate or something, whatever it is Deadpool does at this point.
Well, he gets pegged, but I don't want to make fun of that because obviously that's like kink shaming, and I'm not going to do that. So,
no.
and listen, if Brad Pitt's character in F1 gets pegged on his own time in his own bedroom, that is his right.
Yes, of course.
And that's what we fought World War II over. Not exactly, but similar things.
100%. I mean,
freedom
listen,
in general, freedom.
We haven't seen this movie yet. We're seeing it on Friday. We didn't get an advanced screening, so we don't know if Brad Pitt gets pegged like Deadpool in this movie. I don't think so, but we don't know. But I do think if he does, it's not going to be played for laughs the way Deadpool would play it. I think it would be played earnestly, meat and potatoes, pegging that probably has an emotional resonance to the story. And so I think that's a big difference between this F1 movie and a Deadpool type movie is the way the pegging would be portrayed.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. With dignity, in a way that Deadpool doesn't do anything with dignity.
Right. So I want to throw this email in here because we got an email from the great Sean the Alcoholic.
Oh.
And Sean, he says, service of the cinema. Hey guys, in AA, when you sponsor a person or host a meeting, it's called service. Below is a text message I sent to a group of drunks, parentheses, God, God. This is how I do it. And then this is the text he sent. AA goes to the movies. Tuesday, 7/1 at 2:55 in Randolph. And then editor's note from Sean, keep this in if you read this, all wannabe people welcome. Continues, from the people who brought you Top Gun Maverick, Brad Pitt stars in F1, $12.50 to see it in IMAX. This is a big movie to be enjoyed on the biggest screens. And then he signs it, Sean, Alcoholic, Maverick Bump Believer. So, Sean the Alcoholic, thank you, of course, for your service here.
Yes.
Getting a group together of AA members to go see F1 in IMAX. I think this says so much about the energy around this movie heading into opening weekend, where it's the IMAX energy. You got to see this on the big screen. And it is the everyman coming together. Because what is more everyman than recovering alcoholics on a text thread?
Absolutely.
And it's a group activity. I love, it's like Magic Mike. What Magic Mike was for single women back when that came out, going in as a group, is F1 that for not just guys, but people in AA? Could that be the case here?
Listen, what cats are to lonely women, beers are to lonely men. I think we can agree to that, right?
Okay.
And so what's interesting about this, and of course, Sean, always in service. I mean, he was in service to me at the live show in Boston. He knows what he did. Everybody knows what he did. He came up to the stage. He handed me a refreshment that I needed at the moment, despite his past with this said beverage.
Yes.
He gave me something I needed at the time. And I'm forever grateful for that. But what I thought also was interesting is that he is a Maverick Bump believer. Now, here is a person in this equation that we haven't talked about receiving a bump, right? We talked about the man himself, Tom Cruise, getting the bump. We've talked about Glenn Powell getting the bump. What about the director of Maverick?
Yes.
Joseph Kosinski.
Yep.
Why is he not somebody who could get this bump?
Yeah, I think that dead on. I love that Sean continues to talk about the Maverick bump, and he might have finally hit the movie that gets it. I mean, Joseph Kosinski, he directed a Netflix movie after Maverick came out. Well, that's the thing. I think that movie might have just moved us off of the scent of Joseph Kosinski getting the Maverick bump, because he did put out a movie post Maverick. Of course, it was Netflix, so it had no box office. And then I think that made us forget about him getting the bump. And
it also starred.
This is the most Maverick movie that has come out since Maverick, probably.
100%. And that movie did star Chris Hemsworth. So obviously nobody wanted to see it in any capacity.
Yes.
So that's true. I do think that this movie, I mean, the way we felt in Maverick being placed into the cockpit is the same way, hopefully, we will feel being placed in the driver's seat of this car.
Yeah, Spiderhead, that was the movie, 2022. So that came out like the fall after Maverick had come out in theaters. And I do think that really just made people not forget about Joseph Kosinski, but it really just it made us not anticipate what his next movie was going to be, because his next movie after Maverick ended up being a Netflix movie with Chrissy Hemme. So, but yeah, this...
You can say his name. You can say Chris Hemsworth. He doesn't have power over us anymore. He has no power anymore.
For the listeners who've been with us since day one, they remember early in the run of the BO Boys, we said the name of Chris Hemsworth, and the one time it's ever happened to us, the audio file was corrupted and we couldn't put the episode up. And then, of course, we had our period where we only referred to him as Chrissy Hemme, but yeah, his power is so diminished. Chris Hemsworth. We could say the name over and over again. And I have no fear that this file will be corrupted. No fear. So yeah, that's the thing about F1. Listen, it's not going to be Maverick. Maverick was such a special situation. It was the sequel to a movie that had been beloved for 30 years that people actually wanted a sequel to. But F1 does feel like the closest thing to that kind of audience that we've had since Maverick. The everyone audience, but is this where the dads come out in force the way they did for Maverick?
I mean, yeah, again, not going to be Maverick, but I do think that people who don't tweet, people who aren't buying these on an app, the tickets, are going to go to this movie. I do think this is going to have a lot of walk up. I think it's going to be a movie that isn't going to be... Listen, there's so much talk. All I'm seeing online talk right now is about Superman and Fantastic Four. And whether or not this Jurassic Park movie is going to be good or not is also like a small part of it. But that's another movie that's like, it's dinosaurs, it's going to do great.
Yeah.
You're not seeing a lot of talk about F1 in a fandom way. And I think that's because there's nothing in it that is like, well, they better have this or I'm going to be mad. Because it's a movie about car racing with a giant star. Right.
I mean, their fans, the fandom is in a car right now, so they shouldn't be tweeting. They're driving as we speak.
Yeah.
I predict this weekend what we're going to see with F1 is a Bad Boys for Life, which was, of course, Bad Boys 3, not Bad Boys 4. That kind of weekend where the number will rise throughout the weekend. The deadline estimation that comes out on Saturday morning will be lower than the estimation that comes out on Sunday, and will be lower than the actuals that come out on Monday. That is my prediction.
That excites me. I hope that is the case. I genuinely hope that is the case. Yeah, F1. I mean, it is, this is going to be a big test for Crapple TV Plus.
Yeah.
Right. This is them. I know Warner Brothers is, releasing this. They've got the IMAXs and the PLFs for 2 weeks with this.
Yep.
Which is huge.
Huge.
And
They're getting it over the dynos. F1 will be in IMAXs and the dynos will be shut out. And I do think the fact that people know that that's about to happen makes F1 feel like a bigger deal. The fact that F1 edged out the dynos. I think as that word spreads, even though that doesn't matter until next weekend, it's going to make this weekend feel like F1 is a bigger movie than it even is.
Yeah, I do have, and I have my issues with Crapple TV Plus. I think they mostly make bad movies, other than movies with genuine, spectacular talents such as Scorsese. You know, so there would be a little bit of me that would be a little bit upset if they do succeed in this way. But I do think we need, that's just a personal thing.
But we need a movie studio to release movies.
And
Crapple
that's the
TV
thing
Plus has to become a theatrical movie studio.
And that's the thing, is that I want them to be better, and I want them to see the light and realize this is the sort of movie they should put out, not Argyle.
Yes.
And if they
not
can
Wolves.
see the light from this, then that's positive. I do believe in rehabilitation.
Oh, okay. That's great. That's great. You're giving Crapple TV Plus a chance this weekend. You're not writing them off. I mean, this is a huge indicator of the future of that as a movie studio. Because if F1 were to bomb, which it doesn't seem like it's going to at this point, but obviously it hasn't even come out yet. But if it were to bomb, that would pretty much be the full end of Crapple TV Plus putting anything into movie theaters. They would just fully, we make 2-hour TV shows that we air, and that's it.
Yeah, we're doing we're doing direct to Crapple TV Plus movies, like the action movie that they're probably going to do with Matt Belloni now that he's blown up. The Old Man action movie.
Yes.
Although I don't think he's that old, but I do think he has the physicality of an old man, and therefore he could be like a Liam Neeson type.
Yeah. Send him to Estonia and film some action movies with him. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. I do think that this is such. I mean, I think we've said this before. F1's kind of one of the most important movie releases of the year, because you look at the movies that Crapple TV Plus already has in the can coming up. They've got a Paul Greengrass movie with Matthew McConaughey. They've got a Spike Lee movie with Denzel Washington. Is there any way that maybe F1 does so well this weekend that those movies get actual theatrical releases? Could F1 overperform to such a degree that it changes the course of a Spike Lee and a Paul Greengrass movie this year?
I mean, obviously, we'd like to see both of those in theaters. That's more like it. That's more like it, Crapple. That's what we want. We want a place for someone like Paul Greengrass to get money to make a movie that people can actually see.
Yes.
Spike.
I
mean, that name, Spike. We're talking about breakout star last episode of the 28 Years Later movie, Spike.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody named Spike that isn't cool. And Spike Lee is the coolest.
Yeah. So
he deserves to be on the big screen.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a little bit of rooting for this movie because of so many other movies that could succeed because of this. So Brad Pitt really he's got the weight of the industry on his shoulders this weekend.
Yeah.
And,
and he's got, not that Wolves is something he's got to overcome, but there's a little bit of a stain on him from Wolves and the Wolves debacle. I honestly think nobody saw that movie. It does not matter in any shape or form.
Okay. So you basically look at it as he's coming off of Bullet Train with this movie this weekend. Wolves didn't exist as far as most people are concerned.
Pretty much, yeah. I really think Wolves came and went in a way that nobody really cares.
Okay. Yeah. I think that this movie has a chance to do a lot of good this weekend. It has a chance to do a lot of good, and I'm rooting for it. I'm rooting for it. And we don't come out here on this show that much and outright root for a movie, but I'm rooting for an overperformance from F1 this weekend.
But I think we always root for. I'm going to push back on that, Pat, because I think we do advocate for films. We want things to perform well. We want big box office.
Oh yeah.
I think this means a little bit more to us than, holding our nose and saying like it is at the end of the day, a bad thing when these Marvel movies do poorly.
Right.
But I think that yes, maybe this does hold a little bit closer piece of our heart.
Yes. So yeah, I am excited for it. It feels like the excitement is building. It feels like it's got that you got to see it in theaters energy to it that people are taking or people are actually talking about.
So now, is this a segue into a movie where the buzz feels non-existent?
Yeah, I mean, I am surprised when I looked at the estimates today for Megan 2.0 that are right now it's being estimated at 15 to 23 million. Is that pretty much the range, the predicted range for the opening weekend? I'm shocked. I didn't think that quality would matter at all with this movie. I thought people just liked the first one enough that you'd get one sequel out of it where it would definitely open bigger than the first one.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look that way. And I mean, is this movie getting trashed in the previews? It doesn't seem like there's terrible buzz. It just seems like people don't seem to care. I mean, the big thing is that the advanced ticket sales are really low. Mm-hmm. We're seeing Deadline says that it's 25% lower than what Evil Dead Rise did when that opened to 24 million. So that's where we're getting, high teens for this movie. I'm just surprised that people don't seem to care. I mean, do you think it's the F1 competition? Because I would have thought these were different audiences, but has that turned out to be a bad thing?
No, I don't think F1 impacts this at all. Unless we see a F1 over-indexing in the teen, tween, young adult audience. Mm-hmm. Like if the audience that would normally go to a Megan 2.0 and do whatever, yeah, decides that maybe they're going to keep their hands on their own laps and watch Brad Pitt take laps. Mm-hmm. That's possible. And I hope for F1, obviously that's the case. But I think the safer and more likely thing is that this movie had its time in the sun. It went viral with the first one, with the dancing. It surprised people that it was fun and funny. And this feels like old news.
Yeah.
And I know you were putting a lot on the T2 twist
that's
here.
I thought people would be into the T2 twist.
But guess what, Pat? They already saw T2. Like, that's a thing. That's not new. That's the thing. It's T2. It's not new. So it's not like it's some inventive twist. It's a ripoff of T2.
But I mean, the first Megan was child's play. I mean, it's just a killer doll.
Yeah.
Kills people, except now it's a robot. So it's not, I don't know if recycling old ideas is the problem. I mean, is there, and again, this hasn't opened yet, but it's a June release for a movie that the first one came out January of whatever it was, 23. Should this movie have been either a winter or a Halloween release? Should this have come out either this past January or come out in October? Or do you feel like it doesn't matter? People just don't are not going to care about a Megan 2.0.
The thing about this is that it's truly not even a horror movie, so it doesn't have to come out in a horror movie slot.
Right.
They obviously thought they had something with this, that they were going to release it in the summer and do the marketing promotion for a summer movie. And frankly, I just think it's not their fault. The culture moved, and Megan and Megan is not part of the culture vibe shift.
Yeah.
I just don't think people are interested in this. So, I mean, you got to take a shot. I'm sure it's pretty cheap. It'll make its money back downstream. But I have this movie. I drafted this movie in the draft.
Right. Hey, when we drafted this, we all thought Megan 2.0 was going to make more this weekend than F1.
We did.
I think to a man, we all predicted it would come in number 1 this weekend.
And I bet you at the end of the summer, I think that Weapons is going to make more than this movie does.
Wow.
Because it's going to get so eaten up after this weekend with your Dinos and your Supermens and your Fantastic Fours.
Yeah. I am a little surprised at how little buzz, because I figured even if this movie didn't have legs, I thought for sure it was going to come in this weekend and open way higher than the first one. Just more people were aware of it, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Have you seen any new Megan memes that have developed?
No, I don't even think she dances in the trailer. How do you not make a bigger dance sequence? How don't you have an army of Megans doing like a dance in a mall?
Right.
Like, I don't understand why you don't just go more instead of making her nice.
What? Yeah. They. What about in the trailer the use of the Britney Spears song? Oops, I Did It Again. If this movie underperforms, is this a black mark for Britney Spears? That they thought that was going to be a big part of getting people excited about this movie, and it doesn't seem to have worked. Is this on Britney? Or are you going to tell me to leave Britney alone? Are you going to start yelling at me, leave Britney alone?
Of course. I mean, I'm not going to put anything more on Britney. Listen, let's just say, I know everybody who was leave Britney alone, free Britney. She is who she is. We've realized.
Okay.
I wouldn't put this failure on her. I don't think she could handle it. God only gives you as much as you can handle, and I don't think Britney Spears can handle one more thing. Okay.
All right. Well, then I will not put that on her. I will take your advice and I will leave Britney alone.
Okay.
Were you?
Yeah.
When that Leave Britney Alone video came out, that it's confirmed that wasn't you who was in the video, right? We have confirmed that over the years that you were not the Leave Britney Alone guy in the original video.
I mean, I don't think there was ever a confirmation either way.
Okay. So that is still a possibility, much like, is Marilyn Manson Paul from the Wonder Years? It is still possible that Clayton from the B.O. Boys is the Leave Britney Alone guy.
It's not impossible.
Okay. Could you monetize that uncertainty? Are you able to get some T-shirts, your face on it, put the B.O. Boys logo in the back, your face, and is he the Leave Britney Alone guy? And try and sell that, and I get a piece. Is that a possibility?
Well, I guess the only way to know if it would be profitable is if you try it. Yes. And I'm sure we could do like a print on demand situation.
Okay.
So we don't have a warehouse full of unsold T-shirts.
Yeah, we definitely shouldn't print like 50,000 shirts that have your face on it, and underneath it says, "Is he the Leave Britney Alone guy?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that would probably not be a good idea. But yeah, if that's something that you as a wannabe old boy, wannabe old girl, wannabe old person are interested in, email us theboboyspodcast@gmail.com, and yeah, maybe we'll whip something up for a print on demand. Because
that should
the
definitely
uncertainty
be
needs to be monetized.
That definitely should be the first t-shirt we make.
Yes, that's true. We haven't actually ever sold merch, and this feels like a good first one. It makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then the low estimates for Megan 2.0, we're not going to put that on Brittany Clayton, as he may have said years ago, once again saying, leave Brittany alone. And Allison Williams, I mean, again, we're sort of analyzing before it comes out, almost talking about it as a failure, which it hasn't opened yet. So who knows? Is there any chance that these estimates are low, that there is a Megan 2.0 ticket buyer who is not being accounted for? Are they possibly shy about buying online? Is there a reason why a Megan 2.0 fan has decided, I don't want to be tracked on the apps and I'll go buy my tickets in person?
No, I don't think so. I think this is a movie for young people, and they would tend to buy ahead of time. They know how to use the apps. They're going to use the apps. You know what I mean? They're on apps for everything else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But it's a movie about technology run amok. So maybe if you're a big fan of the first Megan, you've become scared off of putting your data online. I mean, is that too much wishful thinking? Is that the level that?
No, I mean, come on. It's only gotten worse since then.
Yeah. So if you're Blumhouse right now and you're trying to make that excuse or rationalize, oh, maybe we scare them off of technology, so they're going to buy their tickets in walk up in person this weekend. That's not the way for them to think.
Here's the other problem. Blumhouse, it makes so much crap now. And I think even when Megan first came out, I think we still in our mind thought, yeah, Blumhouse predominantly makes good these, which are cheap horror / thriller movies for young people. And they've just inundated the market with so much trash that it's an A24 problem where nobody trusts a Blumhouse movie just because it's Blumhouse.
Okay.
Like, remember how excited people were when the Halloween movies were going to be released by Blumhouse? Everybody's like, finally, in good hands.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody feels that way anymore.
I mean, I'm looking at the last year of Blumhouse movies starting January 2024. Night Swim, Imaginary, of course, Chauncey the Bear, Afraid in August of 2024, the Speak No Evil remake. And then this year, I mean, they were on Wolfman and The Woman in the Yard and Drop. So
come on, that's crap.
Yeah, it's a bad run. They haven't had a full on hit since October 2023, Five Nights at Freddy's. Does this okay? Maybe we'll talk about it when the results come in, but if Megan 2.0
don't say it. Five Nights at Freddy's is bulletproof.
Okay. But I feel like we would have been saying that about Megan 2.0.
No, because Five Nights at Freddy's is a giant IP that has proven that kids want to see it.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to agree, but yeah, who knows if Blumhouse screws this one up. But yeah, they are.
I don't feel like
bad streak.
Anybody has been a bigger proponent of the idea of this movie than you. You're like one of the only people I know who is has been so positive about this sequel for so long.
You drafted it. You have it on your team.
I drafted it because what was the other things to draft at that time? I'd like to see what that round looked like. We could take a look at that round.
Well, we do have to do an episode that goes over the draft. We have to have our fellow league members on to really do a state of the fantasy league episode. That's got to happen very soon.
We'll get one of BO VP of interns to pull out the calendar and make that happen.
Yeah, no, we got to make that happen.
I'll give him my avails.
So do you think that audiences are aware though of the Blumhouse crap streak? Is that putting people up? You think that they're sort of aware, man, they just put out Wolfman, Woman in the Yard, and Drop, and now I'm biased against buying a ticket for the next Blumhouse movie. You think that's broken through to the average moviegoer?
I think they were out in 2024 because I think the closer, like the movies that really started I think Chauncey definitely did it. Wow. I think the swimming pool movie did it. Mm-hmm. I think those were the ones that really put people off of the Blumhouse train.
Yeah. They did that Exorcist Believer movie that everyone hated. One. It really is. If you look at their last few years, Five Nights at Freddy's is the outlier.
Yeah.
Because other than that, they had an Insidious movie of July 2023, but now we're going back 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Exorcist Believer kind of is the turning point that people forget about because then Five Nights at Freddy's came out 3 weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I listen. I'm curious at how low this could end up going, because there's the chance that F1 rises through the weekend, and the estimates for Megan 2.0 keep falling at the same time. Because for F1 to really hit high, I think younger people are going to have to make the choice that this is what we want to see this weekend.
That absolutely is going to make the difference because our old asses are going to be there.
Yes, we've got our tickets already.
Yeah.
So, want to just take a look at a couple of more emails that we got. We got a boots on the ground report from Canada. So we got, this is from wannabe oh boy Craig, says, "Hey guys, Craig from Canada with boots on the ground reporting. Last night I attended a mystery movie Monday at my local theater and was surprised with Jurassic World Rebirth. Mark my words, this will be the #1 movie at the box office this summer. It's everything you need in a summer blockbuster. Simple story, big action, big dinos, people getting eaten, a few big laughs. Fittingly, this does seem like a rebirth of the series. The movie appeals to larger audiences than Fantastic Four or Superman will. If it's any indication, there was certainly excitement in the audience when the movie was revealed. Some people even clapped at the end credits. To clarify from last time I wrote in, these mystery movie events are paid tickets and not a free screening, as Clayton assumed. Brings me to wonder, do these early screenings count towards the box office numbers? Thanks, guys. Craig, P.S. Do a live show in Western Canada, please." Lot to unpack there from Craig. I do think that those mystery screenings that are often at AMC's and the big chains, I do think they count towards the movie that's being shown. I don't think they just go into a mystery bucket.
No, I don't remember ever saying that they were free. I don't think I ever said that. I'm not sure. But
Greg, if you could pull up the audio, that would be great. Because
pull up the audio and send it to
theboboyspodcast@gmail.com. Send us the audio, and I will play it to Clayton's face.
But yes, anything that is a pre-release counts, that is paid, counts as a preview. Therefore, it gets rolled in.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But once in a while, it's going to be like one screening here at like 7 p.m. That's not really going to make that much of a difference when it comes to the box office, unless movies are doing like a lot of pre opening previews, which I believe the Transformers Rise of the Beast did a ton of them.
Yeah,
and that's why that was a fake number one. But yeah, I think, this thing with the dinos is if this one does really well, this just could be a bulletproof IP in the sense that unless you get another movie as boring as the third one in the original trilogy, you may not dip under a certain number when it comes to these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
just because how much people love dinos.
And listen, it's great to hear that the crowd was particularly excited because there's definitely a high floor on the dinos movies. But if people do love it, I mean, we saw that with the first Jurassic World movie, which was movie 4. That one made almost like $2 billion because people just really like that movie. So who knows if this is a movie that people end up really liking, maybe it does do almost $2 billion. Maybe it does go nuts. What about doing a live show in Western Canada?
Mm-hmm. And
I mean,
and Craig,
that's the big question.
I was just gonna say, it's obviously crossing enemy lines, right? We would be like Billy Joel playing in Russia back in the 80s.
Okay.
I mean, are we willing to take that chance to risk our lives?
So we feel like going into Canada is crossing enemy lines.
What do you think?
I mean, here's the thing. We're all part of the North American box office.
According as of now, yeah.
Okay. So you're seeing you see a full-on split coming. You think this is a Canadian Bacon situation. This is the Michael Moore, his one narrative directorial feature. You think that's coming true, and it will be dangerous for us to go into Canada to do a live show.
Has Michael Moore ever been wrong about anything?
True.
We have to see how what the future holds. Listen, I'm not saying we won't do it. Listen, Billy Joel bravely went to Russia and played his wonderful songs, which we both can agree on, Pat, right? Billy Joel has wonderful songs.
I love Billy Joel. He was barred though from being played at my wedding. Not on my account.
But so much Michael Jackson you could choke a horse with.
Yes.
So I think that's the thing. Is like, I think Canada deserves to hear the BO Boys, deserves to see the BO Boys. So I would do it. But yeah, it would be risking our butts.
Okay. I'm in. I think we should do it.
And since it is part of North America, it is not like Pat going to France and running around with baguettes and, on a bike and wearing a beret and smoking a tiny cigarette. That's not what this would be.
I did have a beret on, but it was someone else was on a bike when they recognized me. I was not on a bicycle. I was standing.
Okay. But yeah. Listen, we should help unify. Like you said, we are North American box office.
Yes.
We are friends.
Right now, yeah, there are U.S. and Canadian tensions. And our role could be, and you're right, maybe we're risking our lives, but I think it would be worth it to heal those wounds. If we were the ones who everyone agreed healed the wounds between the U.S. and Canada, A, that would be great because we want wounds to heal. And B, it would be great for us because the notoriety of being the wound healers would be great for the BO Boys, especially when we're launching our new merchandise line with your face on a t-shirt and underneath it says, "Is he the guy who said Free Britney?" You know, so we mend this Canadian-U.S. relationship, get the bump from that, And then, boom, we launched that T-shirt the next day after the show and all the press. That's huge for us.
Absolutely. So we're uniters, not dividers. We've always said that.
Yes.
And the fact that you are using the healing of wounds in order to sell T-shirts is a very American thing to do.
Yes, yes. Especially T-shirts that are of a completely unrelated nature. You know, we're not going to be selling T-shirts that say the BO Boys, we healed the wound, and then you've got a Canadian and US flag shaking hands. That's not the shirt. We do the show in Canada. We heal the wound, but then the shirt is Clayton's face, and it says, is he the guy who said Free Britney? That's the shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it has to be launched after we do the Canadian live show.
Yeah. So I guess the answer would be TBD.
The answer is dependent on the design of the shirt.
Whether you think it's marketable enough.
Yes.
Or it looks good enough. It's up to your very specific standards when it comes to novelty T-shirts.
Yes. Once we get the creative for this novelty T-shirt, we see the drawing, because it will be a drawing of your face. And then if I confirm, yes, this is marketable, we could sell this, then we book the show in Canada. In Western
and heal
Canada.
The wound.
And heal the wound. Yeah. So Western Canada, so is Vancouver? Could we do the show in Vancouver? Do we have to go to like a rural town in Western Canada, or could we?
You would ask that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You would ask that. I'll go to any rural town in Canada.
But it's different for you because you go to a rural town in Canada. It's, you're from outside Pittsburgh. So it's all the same. It's 3 horses and an outhouse. And you're like, oh, back home. I feel like it's, for me, I'm coming from New York. It's got to be at least Vancouver.
Yeah.
But
I get it. It's got to be a city that could double for New York City in a major production.
100%. Yes. Yes. That is my rule in terms of going to Canada. I'm sure all of the rural towns are nice. I'm sure they're great, have their charms. But yes, it has to be a city that you could have filmed an episode of Suits in and said that they're coming out of an office in Manhattan. Yeah. So yeah, if that's the case, if Craig could guarantee us that, and if the T-shirt design seems marketable, then yes, we will be in Vancouver at some point. And then got an email from Wannabe Oh Boy Connor. Subject is Superman X Dairy Queen. Hey guys, went to my local Dairy Queen in Indianapolis, RIP Halliburton, and noticed the walls, windows, and doors decked out in Superman decor. There is also a Superman themed blizzard with Superman printed cups. I'm not a baby, so I didn't order a kid's meal, so I'm not sure if there are Superman toys, but I'm curious where Dairy Queen ranks for fast food endorsements of movies. I have fond childhood memories of the Scooby-Doo Blizzard to promote the live-action Scoob movie, but for me, DQ ranks just above Long John Silver's in the hierarchy of fast food endorsements. Very excited to hear your thoughts. I love the show more than I love my family. Love Wannabe Oh Boy Connor. First of all, good ranking of who you love. It should be us above your family. I would hope that's what the majority of our audience how they would rank their love. I'm not sure if that's the case for most people, but it should be. It should be us over family. Because you should consider us your family.
Well, we're better than family.
Yeah, better than family. We're the family that you aspire to have, as opposed to the family you're born into.
Yeah, so, you choose. We're your chosen podcast family.
Yes, yes. So, what are you a Dairy Queen guy? Again, and we're not the Burger Boys. Subscribe to their Patreon if you want to listen to the Burger Boys. They got improv, they got burgers. But
They actually do a post show where they puke.
Yes. Well, one guy pukes and the other one improvs his analysis of the puke.
Yeah, he does like a funny play-by-play.
Yes. He does a Howard Cosell voice, I've heard.
Yeah. So, this is interesting. Never really got the food there, but would get the Blizzard, would get an ice cream cone, a soft serve. My take on this, and this was a great email front to back, but I think this is also a great question. I think as long as the movie is being prominently featured on the Blizzard, that is a nice piece of real estate. Because that's all anybody is going to really want at Dairy Queen. It's not called Burger Queen. It's not called Hot Dog Queen. It's not called French Fry Queen, It is Dairy Queen. So the star is the dairy. And so if you were telling me that they only had a Superman burger and fries, and they had a Crypto, the Super Doge plushie that you could get in there, whatever their ripoff of the Happy Meal is, but there was no Superman on a cup, I'd say Superman is effed. The fact that he's on the Blizzard Cup is huge, I think.
Yeah. I didn't even... DQ. You could go there and get a hamburger. People are going to Dairy Queen and getting a hamburger, like that's their dinner. Is I'm going to Dairy Queen and I'm getting their hamburger and that's my dinner. I didn't realize they were anything other than ice cream.
No, they do have food. That's the thing, and that's the thing is that's what I'm saying. If it was just the food, then that's bad. But the Blizzard Cup, I mean, it doesn't make me think that Superman is gonna do well, but I do think it is a good product placement.
Okay. I mean, it is it concerning if that's the only chain they end up on. If there isn't a Superman Happy Meal or a Superman Whopper Jr., that if their entire fast food promotion is just the Dairy Queen. And again, I'm not a Dairy Queen guy. So I don't, maybe the Blizzard is a gigantic, to get on the Blizzard Cup is all you need. But if they don't end up in a Happy Meal, do you think that's a problem for a Superman?
Well, I'm talking about the people in the stacks, the Earth Dogs, the Plain Billies.
Right.
That's where a lot of them get their ice cream when they go out. So that's big for the Heartland contingent. This is not an East Coast, West Coast play, right?
Right.
So I think the thing is, and I'm pretty sure, and it's people who are maybe more knowledgeable about this, I think you pretty much are only get one fast food tie-in, really, right? Like, I don't think that they're going to allow Superman to also have a Happy Meal when he's fucking around with Dairy Queen.
Yeah, I mean, they're different food types. The ice cream versus the Big Mac. But you're probably right. So they had to make the choice, or was the choice made for them? I mean, listen, we'll see when this movie comes out. It could turn out to be that getting Superman on the Blizzard was the smartest move they ever could have made, because Clark Kent's from the Midwest, right? He's from the middle of the country.
Yes.
And that's who they want to appeal to, are the people like Clark Kent, who the only ice cream they're getting is a Dairy Queen on the side of a highway.
Yeah. And I think that, we'll talk about this when it happens, but I texted you the other day about the fact that Fantastic Four has a tie-in with Little Caesars Pizza, which makes me think that movie is going to do worse than Thunderbolts.
That was disturbing. I think I tried to put that text out of my mind when I saw it, that Fantastic Four is partnered with Little Caesars. That feels like that's the move you would make if you were releasing this movie straight to video. I mean, honestly, the only time I could imagine a movie being partnered with Little Caesars is if the movie is a VHS that's only being released at the registers of a Little Caesars. If it was a Little Caesars production.
Pat, I'm not sure that the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie wasn't sold at Little Caesars with a side of pizza.
Right.
Like that's where you couple your product with Little Caesars. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
So this is bad.
Yeah. I mean, on the hierarchy of fast food tie-ins, DK Blizzard is about as high up as it gets compared to a Little Caesars.
It's the lowest of the low when it comes to the pizza chains.
Yes.
The lowest of the low. The crappiest of the crappiest.
Yeah. Because Domino's, Pizza Hut, if Fantastic Four was at least doing a Domino's tie-in where the thing has got to strangle the Noid, the Domino's Noid. And you're trying to get some retro cred. Look, the Fantastic Four, they're ripping the Noid limb from limb.
Yeah.
Then I could say, okay, that's an interesting fast food tie-in. The violence is a lot, but it's Domino's, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Little Caesars. Godfather's Pizza, would that have been a worse tie-in for Fantastic Four?
What even
Godfather's
is that?
Pizza? Godfather's Pizza, wasn't that the pizzeria that was owned by the guy who ran for president and then died?
It may not have gotten to my shores. It might not have gotten to Western PA.
Herman Cain. Yeah, remember Herman Cain? He ran for president and died. He owned Godfather's Pizza. And I'm trying to, within the movie tie-in fast food world, I wonder if a Godfather's Pizza tie-in where you've got Herman Cain now promoting the new movie, if that would be a better way to go than a tie-in with Little Caesars Pizza.
I mean, I guess it would be a story. People would pick up that story.
That's the thing. If you were using Herman Cain's image in a Godfather's Pizza tie-in to promote the Fantastic Four, that gets you coverage in a way that I think the Little Caesars tie-in is just going to make people sad.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely knocked off, and we'll get to this movie when it comes out. I knocked several $1 million off the opening estimate for me because of this Little Caesars monstrosity of a pizza, which the gimmick is it's 4 different shitty Little Caesars pizza types shoved together.
Oh, wow.
Because there's 4 of them. And so there's 4 different pizzas in one.
Oh.
And they all look equally terrible.
Oh my God. I mean, we'll dig into that when that movie comes out. Do we? And I don't even know.
Viral video of us eating this monstrosity.
Do we do a pizza review of the Little Caesars Fantastic Four tie-in pizza?
One bite. Yeah. Everybody knows the rules.
Well,
I think we could only stomach one bite.
That's the thing with Little Caesars. That is official government, regulations. Is with Little Caesars, one bite. That is the rule.
One bite and stop.
I think insurance companies put that in your policy. Is that one bite of a Little Caesars pizza is all you can have? Otherwise, they will not insure you for any procedures that happen afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have to do that. We are going to have to, forget putting our lives on the line by going to Canada. That is the BO Boys putting our lives on the line, is when we do a pizza review of the Little Caesars Fantastic Four tie-in pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We're going to have to do it. So yeah, I mean, God, at this point, the Superman DQ Blizzard tie-in, it's fantastic. Great. Huge. It's great. It's not Little Caesars. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean that makes it. That's like Bond and like Cartier or something. Like that's what that looks like compared to Fantastic Four and Little Caesars.
Yes, this is a Rolls Royce tie-in.
Yeah,
by being a Dairy Queen instead of being in Rolex. Yeah, yeah. All right. So I mean, listen, great emails this week. So thank you, wannabe oh boy Connor. For that, and email us at theboboyspodcast@gmail.com. Clayton, let's get into our top 5 predictions. We got to do it. So would you like to go first or second on your predictions?
I'm going to go first.
Go for it.
Man, this is a tough one. Yeah, so F1, I'm going to say it's going to open to 40.
Okay.
At number 1. I think number 2 is going to be How to Train Your Dragon. I think it's going to make... I feel like How to Train Your Dragon is going to make about $22 million.
Okay.
I think under that is going to be Megan 2.0. I think it makes 13.
Okay.
Under that is going to be 28 Years Later. And then under that, number 5 is going to be Lilo and Stitch.
Wow.
I think Elio eats so much S.
Wow.
That it drops out of the top 5.
Wow. All right. I'm going F1 number 1. I'm going $59 million. 59. Wow. I think this is going to really take off. And
I hope so.
Saturday morning, they're going to be saying, oh, it's at 51. Sunday, we're going to be getting high 50s. Monday, it's 59. That's where I think we're ended up. Number 2, man, you might be right. How to Train Your Dragon around 18 or 19. And then number 3, I think 28 Years Later is number 3 with 16. I actually think this is going to hold. And then
the exits were terrible. Nobody liked this movie, Pat.
And then Megan, I liked it. And then Megan, if it makes 14, is 4th. And then Elio, I think, is 5. I think Elio edges out Lilo and Stitch. I think it edges it out. I think Lilo and Stitch is going to lose some theaters and Elio is going to hold on. So that's my top 5.
Okay. All right. Listen, I hope you're right about F1.
I feel like we got something here. I'm very excited to see how this weekend progresses. We may have a Bad Boys for Life, which is Bad Boys 3 type situation. Nice. Emails theboboyspodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on social media at theboboyspod. Wannabe VP of Interns Christopher, killing it on the vertical clips. He is in New York soon, but he did not get here in time to do a show with. So that's what the listeners missed out on. So, email, or I guess in the comments on our social media at the BO Boys Pod, give, playfully, but give Christopher a hard time for not getting here to New York in time to do the show, to be on the show. Give him a hard time.
Give him the business.
Engagement is great on social media at the BO Boys Pod. Follow us on Substack, on YouTube. We are YouTubers. Hey guys. And 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. And Clayton, that's all I got.
Well, I finished. Pat, you've said it all. There's
Right.
nothing left to be said.
Awesome. I can leave. And
except for until next time.
We'll smell you at the box office.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.